Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that there are at least 4 reasons why Kristen DiMera's sacrifice is a bad idea. This false confession isn't what Rachel Black needs, so here's how it could end up making things even worse. 1. Rachel will think Kristen lied and almost let Johnny go to prison. Rachel hated taking the stand and has been terrified over the possibility of her testimony sending Johnny DiMera to the slammer. That's why Rachel will be confused, hurt, and furious when she gets updates on Kristen's latest confession. Kristen signed a statement claiming she shot E.J. DiMera instead, so Rachel's going to think her mom pulled the trigger and hid it all this time. Rachel won't understand why Kristen would force her to testify and let Johnny almost go to prison, so all this will be hard on her. 2. Rachel will have to deal with another separation from her mom. Despite any anger Rachel might feel toward Kristen following her confession, she's always going to love and need her mom. Days spoilers suggest that's why another prison separation will be tough on Rachel and could lead to more meltdowns. 3. Rachel will inevitably remember the truth anyway. Of course, Kristen's confession won't matter much anyway, since Rachel will inevitably remember the truth at some point. Marlena Evans can't be certain that Rachel's memory of shooting EJ will ever return, but Days spoilers say it will for drama's sake. Kristen is trying to be selfless and do what's best for her daughter, but Days spoilers say it'll be all for naught when Rachel's memory floodgates finally open. 4. Rachel will face even more guilt over Kristen taking the fall. Once Rachel faces total recall and realizes she's the one who fired at EJ by mistake, she'll also realize Kristen covered for her. Duel fans can expect Rachel to face even more guilt when she discovers Kristen took the fall to protect her. Although Marlena has vowed to get her granddaughter the help she needs, Kristen may be adding to Rachel's mental distress with the sacrifice she's making. Kristen means well, but this could be doing more harm than good. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 29th reveal that Kat Green will play some spy games while Brady Black deals with some alarm bells. Holly Jonas will also have a fierce warning for Sophia Choi, so let's talk about all the day's drama to come. For starters, Gwen von Leuschner will fish for information from E.J. DiMera, but she'll also make time to rip into Leo Stark again. At some point, E.J. will make his way to the hospital, where he'll clash with Kayla Johnson for the umpteenth time. Days spoilers say Kat will lurk nearby and eavesdrop on that conversation, so she'll keep digging for dirt. EJ doesn't realize Kat could be responsible for his looming downfall, so she'll try to keep a lid on that as she seeks a new job. Any position that could help Kat and Rafe Hernandez bring EJ down will be a good thing in her book. Other Days spoilers say Holly will deliver a fierce warning to Sophia. Duel fans can watch as Holly plants a kiss on Tate Black and warns Sophia that she's not going to steal her boyfriend. Back with Kayla, she'll have an interesting clue for Steve to mull over. Kayla may unknowingly put Steve a step closer to figuring out the truth about Sophia and Tate's baby. Regardless, Brady went to Steve for help getting to the bottom of this shady Sophia situation. Steve will eventually give Brady some troubling news, so that may involve confirmation that this adoption wasn't quite what it seemed to be. Although Melinda Trask has been working hard to cover up the real Tesoro story, that's going to get even harder thanks to Steve's investigation. Steve will do everything in his power to find out the whole truth. This fall, Days of Our Lives is planning a very special event, and viewers are about to get one heck of a blast from the past in the form of various fan-favorite returns. During the week of November 10th, the Peacock soap will feature a hospital gala in honor of Tom Horton, and wait until you hear who will be heading home to Salem to attend. We won't make you wait any longer. Fans can expect to see Steven Schnetzer as Steven for one episode, and Christopher Schonbach as Paul, Colton Little as Andrew, Rourke Critchlow as Mike, Mari Cheatham as Marie, and Chandler Massey as Will for 2 shows. Brian Dattilo will be back as Lucas, Allison Sweeney as Sammy, and Greg Vaughn as Eric for 3 episodes. Plus, there will be appearances by Melissa Reeves as Jennifer, Matt Ashford as Jack, Lamont Archie as Eli, and Sal Stowers as Lonnie. And with that many people back in the mix, there's no telling what drama they'll get caught up in. We can bet there will be a whole lot of hugs, laughter, and maybe even a few tears, and in the end, it will be a special treat for longtime and new viewers alike. And all for a memorable cause. to pay tribute to one of Salem's most believed former residents. Alex comes to the office and coolly tells his cousin he was just talking to Sarah, who just so happened to say she misses and loves him. Xander is obviously affected by this news, but quickly moves on to admitting Stephanie's plan to officially make Philip co-CEO has some merit. Alex believes it'd get them all out of harm's way. And also, Xander getting half of something is better than all of nothing. The only other option is undoing the DiMera takeover. Xander will think about it. Over coffee in the square with Marlena, Sarah rants about Kristen not coming forward sooner about shooting EJ. Marlena defends her, much to Sarah's surprise, especially when it comes to her being a mother to Rachel. They move on to discussing Marlena's health issues, with Marlena sharing Susan's diagnosis that involved vampires and how she's sick in body, mind, and soul. Sarah dismisses Susan's wackiness, but the blood-sucking vampire stuff gives her an idea. Since Marlena was just in Estonia, and there is a higher rate for tick-borne illnesses in the Baltics compared to the rest of Europe, she'd like to test for that. Marlena agrees and then asks about Sarah. She admits she still loves Xander, but she can't go back to the man he's become. She hopes Marlena can help him get to the source of his rage for his sake and their daughters. A visit from Grandma Susan interrupts Johnny and Chanel's plans to celebrate his freedom in their bedroom. As the trio discusses the trial, Susan shares that she never got the vibe that Kristen was the one who shot her dear Elvis. Johnny and Chanel adamantly counter that Kristen confessed, and they need it to be over. Susan backs down and leaves the lovebirds to shake their tail feathers. Out in the hallway, Susan's expression turns grim, and she shivers. Back inside, Johnny gets a call from Salem U, where he applied for a job last year. A professor quit, and they want him as an adjunct for the new semester starting next week. They'll even work around his schedule at Tate and Sophia. Chanel encourages him to consider it since it involves his love of film. Susan visits Marlena at the penthouse to apologize for her earlier diagnosis and gets another chill. Terrified, she warns Dr. Marlena Evans that whatever is going on with her has gotten worse. An agitated Marlena isn't interested in her vibrations and slams the door on her. Sarah meets Xander in the square to pick up Victoria. He tries to get her to say what she told Alex, but ultimately has to awkwardly spell it out himself. However, Sarah sees no point in discussing it and leaves with Victoria. At home, Gabby tests out a fountain pen recording device, saying she doesn't need Steve Johnson's help, not even one iota. Javi enters, and she tries to lure him back as her assistant with the tease of him becoming very rich very soon. He takes a hard pass because he likes his life right now. They move on to discussing how Gabby's life is right on track. But there is one thing missing: love. Javi presses for details, but Gabby will only admit there are two guys who she didn't think anything of at first. However, there is an emotional connection with one, while the other is the reason she didn't come home last night. Javi is dying for all the juicy scoop, but Gabby remains coy. Later, Gabby brings a report to Xander's office and leaves it on his desk, along with her recording pen. After horseback riding at the Kyriakis estate, Philip laments to Belle about what a perpetual screw-up he is and how he can't hold on to a relationship. Belle cheekily brings up Gabby, but Philip dismisses their night together. Besides, he doesn't trust himself in a relationship right now. He wouldn't want to hurt Gabby, just like he wouldn't want to hurt Belle. She reminds him they're in a good place now, but teases it's not without its judgment. They laugh over old times and share a wistful look that implies something more than friendship. Belle gets Philip to admit that Titan might not be what he wants for his future. But he doesn't know what he wants. She encourages him to discover what matters to him, which might not be his supposed birthright. He thanks her for giving him a lot to think about. Days of Our Lives Tate may have slept with Sophia and gotten her pregnant, but one thing is for sure: he doesn't want anything more to come from their brief time together. She, of course, may have other ideas that don't sit well with his girlfriend, Holly. In fact, on Friday, the former friends are going to have it out. Soaps.com recently caught up with Rachel Boyd and discussed what the future holds for the characters, as well as what she would like to see happen. This wouldn't be the first time girls ruined a friendship over a boy, and when asked if one day it might be possible for the two to put the past behind them. "I would really love that," Boyd said, "because I think that there is just such a fine line between love and hate, and you just can only ever be truly, truly hurt by somebody who you love." "I think that was a great dynamic to explore with Ashley Puzemis," she added, "because I think she's so cool and such a nice girl in real life, and I love hanging with her." Boyd also touched base on the dynamic of Sophia and Holly having been friends, and even at their lowest points, there's always the underlying feeling that they love each other. "So, yes," the actress said, doubling down, "I would love to see Sophia and Holly be able to put the past behind them and just move on." When we pointed out how stranger things have happened, like in the case of Sammy and Carrie and their up-and-down sibling rivalry, Boyd agreed and stated, "Yeah, no, that's the thing. Anything can happen in the soap world. Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of September 1st suggest some twists and curveballs. Fans can expect Steve Johnson to snoop into Sophia Choi's adoption. Meanwhile, Kat Green and Gwen Rizjek von Leuschner will do some more bonding. Keep reading, and let's discuss what is coming up next week in the Peacock soap opera. Let's start off with Steve, who has been talked to by Brady Black about the adoption situation. The Black Patch boss man will agree to take the case. He agrees with Brady that something feels very off about this adoption story. Interestingly enough, Kayla Johnson introduced Steve to Sophia already. So, Steve will have an excuse to make small chat with her and maybe pick up some clues. Speaking of Sophia, she's obsessed with making Tate Black her own. However, Ari Horton will try to urge Sophia to let her fixation on Tate go. Unfortunately, it seems Sophia will just intensify her efforts. In a sizzling summer promo released a few months ago, Sophia was taking pictures of a passed-out Holly. Sophia also lowered the strap on Holly's top to make the photos more scandalous. "Hello, Jan Spears 2.0, Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of September 1st. Suggest that EJ DiMera will have a big decision to make. Will EJ give Kat the job she's asking for? Fans can also expect Kat to continue bonding with Gwen. While Kat was a bit unnerved by the woman, Gwen seems to be pushing a connection. So, it will be interesting to see where this goes. How will Kat's new friendship affect her dynamic with Chad DiMera? Even though Kristen DiMera confessed to shooting EJ, Rachel Black is bound to remember sometime. There is also Marlena Evans, who will try to help Rachel process everything that's happened. Meanwhile, Doc has her own issues. The Queen of the Night dreams will continue, seemingly haunting her. Her health issues also continue, and another incident lands Marlena in the hospital. So, what exactly is Susan Banks sensing? Could it be a physical medical illness she's sensing, rather than a spiritual battle? Days of Our Lives spoilers suggest that Brady Black will frantically search for Rachel Black as she has run away again. Where will Rachel be this time? Brady knows how Rachel acts up every time Kristen DiMera goes to prison for her crimes. Usually, Rachel shows up at Statesville. Brady is furious with Kristen for making their daughter testify against Johnny DiMera. Little does Brady know that Kristen is actually covering for Rachel because she just learned that Rachel was the one who shot EJ DiMera and not Johnny DiMera or anyone else. Since Rachel was the one who pointed the finger at Johnny, EJ ordered Kristen to find someone to take the fall, or he would reveal the truth about Rachel's part in this. There is no way that he is going to allow Johnny to be convicted for any such crime. Kristen confessed to keep Rachel out of trouble. Will she regret it? Eventually, the truth will come rushing back to Rachel, and she will save her mother from prison. However, Rachel is going to have help to deal with this after her mother went to prison to protect her. Will Rachel ever manage to get past what she has done? How much therapy will it take for Rachel to deal with this? Once Brady finds Rachel, he will learn just how far Kristen has gone for their daughter. Will Brady forgive Christy for lying to him and refusing to tell him what was going on behind his back? Rachel may be upset with her mother as well, considering she could have always told her the truth. However, Rachel seems to be growing closer to Sarah Kyriakis while Christy is gone. Rachel could remember what happened and demand to speak with her mother, something Brady will likely not let her do. Will Rachel go behind Brady's back and visit Kristen to tell her the truth? Could Rachel go to the judge and confess to her to attempt to get Kristen released? Rachel is a wild card. It is hard saying how she will react to the truth. Rachel may run to Kristen DiMera and reveal what she remembers. Of course, Marlena Evans and Brady Black would be beside themselves trying to find her. Rachel could be completely horrified by what she has done and need to talk to someone about her actions. Will she sneak off to see her mom once again? Days of Our Lives spoilers are in for Friday, August 29th, 2025. Fans can expect Kayla Johnson to give a clue to Steve Johnson. Brady Black gets rattling news. Plus, Kat Green pitches a job to E.J. DiMera. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the Peacock soap opera. Let's start off with Holly Jonas, who confronts her rival. The blonde will warn Sophia Choi to stay away from Tate Black. Holly even plants a smooch on Tate's lips while glaring at Sophia. However, we know from the summer promo that Sophia's antics will just intensify and get worse in the next few weeks. Over with EJ, he will face Gwen Rischek von Leuschner. The brunette will try to pry intel from EJ. Later, Gwen bashes Leo Stark. Meanwhile, EJ has more conflict with Kayla at the hospital. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 29th reveal that Kat will overhear EJ's chat with Kayla. Then, she approaches him pitching a job. Since Kat and Rafe Hernandez are digging for dirt on EJ's long-term plans for the hospital, it would be a good job to get. However, we will see how EJ responds to Kat's proposition. There will also be Steve, who gets a clue from Kayla. Since Steve's new case involves Sophia and Tate's baby, the doctor might give him some ideas. That could eventually lead to Steve having some questions for Sarah Horton-Kyriakis. Steve does get some rattling news. So, he might find out that the adoption is bogus. Even if Sophia admits it eventually, there is still the location of the baby. What if by the time Sophia's story comes out, Tesoro has already been given a permanent home? Leo and Javi Hernandez are only temporary foster parents. So, unless they adopt or file paperwork to be long-term foster parents, they might have to turn the child over to a new family. There is also the issue of Melinda Trask. At some point, she needs to pay consequences for all her adoption and baby-stealing schemes. She already got away with stealing Nicole Walker's baby. Is she going to get away with Tesoro too? Stay tuned to find out. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Friday, August 29th, 2025? Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 29th suggest some major moments as Salem heads into the weekend. Someone tries to drop a clue for a loved one, while another is seeking a career change, plus two rivals face off. What's set to go down on Friday? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 29th imply that Kayla Johnson will drop some clues in Steve Johnson's way. Is this to help him out with a case, or potentially something else? Brady Black did hire Steve to find out more about Sophia Choi's adoption, and as Sophia's medical records indicate she had a boy, not a girl, as she claimed, Kayla may find this and drop a clue in Steve's way. Then again, this could be about something else entirely, so only time will tell. Speaking of, fans should expect a major confrontation between Sophia and Holly Jonas. Sophia is still interested in Tate Black, and Holly has reunited with him, so there's bound to be conflict between these two ladies. Additionally, Sophia is becoming increasingly unstable, seeking employment at the same place Tate works, and attempting to draw closer to him. How ugly will things get between these two ladies on Friday's show? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Across town, Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday hint that, as Kat Green has lost her job working with Marlena Evans, she'll be looking for another one. Of course, this is all just for show, as she's working for the I Say. During the Friday show, Kat will approach E.J. DiMera, hoping he'll give her a job. As her investigation is on EJ, she'll be killing two birds with one stone. However, will he hire Kat, considering her past in Salem and parading around as Abigail DiMera? Days of Our Lives is getting fans ready for a fall filled with twists and turns as the show prepares for a milestone moment. In November, the Peacock soap celebrates its 60th anniversary. Head writers Paula Quickly and Jean Marie Ford gave Days fans a look at what to expect for the big anniversary and all the drama leading up to it. Speaking with TV Insider, the writers admitted they are pulling out all the stops for the anniversary. The special episode will focus on a gala that honors the legacy of Tom Horton. Many familiar faces will return for the big event, including Mike, Jennifer, Jack, Lucas, Sammy, Will, Marie, Steve, Eli, Lonnie, Eric, Paul, and Andrew. The writers wanted to honor the core families in Salem to celebrate the 60th anniversary and kick off the new seasons following the Peacock soap's renewal. Day's anniversary won't just be about the gala. EJ uses his clout as the new hospital owner to conduct some mysterious experiments in his personal lab. Thanksgiving/family feels with a healthy dose of Halloween mayhem thrown in for good measure. Quickly and forward teased to the outlet. The fallout of Rachel shooting EJ and Kristen's cover-up will be front and center. Before fall is over, Rachel once again lashes out in a way that puts her life in jeopardy. DiMera drama erupts when Chad can't fight his feelings for Kat, as she sets her sights on EJ. Fans know her interest in EJ is Isa-related, but Chad and EJ don't know that, leading to another epic brother fight. Meanwhile, Tony moves forward with his plan to get DiMera Enterprises back. However, his quests put the entire family in grave danger. Brady inches closer to learning the truth about Sophia and Tate's baby. The closer Brady gets, the more Sophia is pushed to the brink. The co-head writers also teased that secrets come out on a night when Salem is left in the dark. So much is happening on Days this fall, who's ready? The quote, "Never work with children or animals," has often been attributed to legendary comedian and film star W.C. Fields. It's unclear whether he felt they would upstage him or were just difficult to deal with, but you rarely see pets in shows. But this week, Days of Our Lives decided to change that, offering fans a special treat that had nothing to do with the usual twists and turns. Amidst love triangles, corporate takeovers, and shocking returns, Days took a break from Salem's scandals to celebrate something a lot sweeter: their dogs. In honor of National Dog Day, the official Days Instagram page shared adorable snapshots of cast members posing with their four-legged companions, writing, "It's Hat National Dog Day, and we can't help but celebrate with our furry friends." Several photos were attached that included Eric Martsolf, Greg Ricart, Martha Madison, James Reynolds, John Paul Lavoisier, Casey Moss and his new bride, Judy Evans, Maggie Carney, Brandon Beamer, Colton Little, and Christopher Sean, all with their beloved pups. Madison gleefully chimed in with, "Winston made the grid. My job here is done." The doggies ranged from spaniels to terriers to Maltese and more. One fan gushed, "Love your dogs. Best wishes from me and my Yorkie Coco," while another swooned, "OMG, that black pug." Another appreciative fan responded, "I love it. Thank you. They all look adorable." A viewer who truly enjoyed the post enthusiastically commented, "Two of my favorite things, dogs and Days." Another follower remarked, "Oh my goodness, these are beautiful. They make their owners look good. Happy Doggy Day." A fan whose day was made brighter by the post revealed, "I love this post. Makes these fine actors seem more real. Their dogs are just so gosh darn cute too." One viewer summed up the feelings of their fellow fans with, "Love it. Happy National Dog Day." Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 29th allow Holly to confront Sophia about what's been going on, while Kat goes out of her way to make sure EJ stays in the dark. Sophia has decided that she wants Tate. We're not exactly sure why. Heck, we're not even sure why Holly wants him. And we're really confused as to why, if she does want Tate. Sophia didn't change her mind and decide to keep the baby, which would have been a way to keep the two of them tethered to each other forever. Holly claims she knows all this. She told Sarah as much. But just in case Sophia doesn't know that Holly knows, Holly decides to fill her in. Not particularly nicely. Now that Marlena has decided to pause her medical practice for the time being, Kat supposedly needs a new job. We know she already has one with Rafe, working to bring down the DiMeras. But the DiMeras don't know that, which is why it makes perfect sense that Kat would turn to EJ, asking for employment, with no other underhanded motives at all. We're all for Gwen blasting Leo. He did a terrible thing, and she should never forgive him. But he knows how she feels. She knows that he knows how she feels. And now that Javi knows the whole sordid story, what's left to discuss? Sure, we suppose Gwen can now rag Leo about spilling to Javi about Johnny's not guilty verdict. But to what end? Brady is suspicious about Sophia's adoption story, especially when he cannot pry the truth out of Sarah. She has moral principles, or something. So Brady asks Tate for the name of Sophia's adoption attorney. His research turns up even more concerning information. Days of Our Lives spoilers photos for the August 29th, 2025 episode tease EJ's latest scheme. EJ takes his business to Salem University Hospital, but someone's listening. EJ chats with Gwen. What will Kat overhear as EJ and Kayla talk? Kayla gets double the demera when she also talked to Chad. Welcome to the Days of Our Lives daily YAPP for a quick, and by that, I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. Those journalistic and jury lines are getting blurred again in Salem. It never made sense that Leo was allowed to be on Johnny's jury when he was once his colleague. He was also the original reporter on the case. Now that jury duty is over, Leo is going right back to reporting on EJ's shooting by covering Kristen's sentencing. Since Leo doesn't believe Kristen did it and knows more about this case than most, including what the verdict would have been, the Spectator will be breaking some interesting news. But should they? We know we have to suspend our disbelief with soaps, especially Days of Our Lives, but this is just all too much at this point. From EJ, the victim, representing his own son, to the district attorney prosecuting her own nephew, lines have been blurred for months. Now the jury foreman will be reporting on the woman who came forward and confessed to the crime. We know how this is going to go. Leo was investigating this case before he became a juror, and will continue doing so now. Surely he will figure out that a child is the real shooter and not know what to do. Leo's affection for Jude, and now Tesoro, has brought out his soft spot for babies and kids, so he won't want to hurt Rachel. However, what Leo really does when he discovers the truth is anyone's guess. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full duel recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Days of Our Lives will reach a major milestone later this fall, when the Peacock-streamed soap turns 60 years old on November 8th. While the 60th anniversary episodes were taped earlier this year, we now know what you'll see at this monumental Salem event. Like the show did for its 50th anniversary in 2015, Days of Our Lives will once again mark this milestone anniversary with a Salem Gala event. The 60th anniversary is the event that brings the town together to celebrate. The hospital gala will kick off a new umbrella story that extends into the new year. Head writers Jean Marie Ford and Paul Quickly told TV Insider, "We wanted to honor the first families of Salem with a retrospective that kicked off new stories in its aftermath," they explain. There will be a hospital gala in honor of Tom Horton, which coincides with some mysterious experiments EJ is conducting in his private lab. The gala will bring more familiar faces from days past. We have already seen these characters for other occasions over the past year, like at Doug Williams' funeral, but they will be back to celebrate Salem. Expect to see Lamont Archie, Matthew Ashford, Mari Cheatham, Rourke Critchlow, Brian DiTillo, Colton Little, Chandler Massey, Melissa Reeves, Sal Stowers, Stephen Schnetzer, Christopher Sean, Allison Sweeney, and Greg Vaughn. The fallout from Kristen's false confession will reverberate through Salem as Rachel misses her mother and begins acting out. Rachel's actions may also put her in harm's way, but will she finally remember that she was the one who shot EJ? It looks like Johnny takes that adjunct professor position at Salem University, where he will run into the latest generation of Salem College students, including Holly, Tate, and Sophia. Brady and Tate also get closer to learning the truth about Sophia's baby. Chad can't hide his feelings for Kat any longer, which puts him in a precarious position with the Horton clan. Will Chad soon have to find a new home for himself, Charlotte, and Thomas? Expect to see Johnny and Chanel attempt to start a family again, but they are going to run into trouble. And finally, Johnny should be worried about his grandmother because Marlena's health crisis reaches a fever pitch. Here are your Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 29th, 2025. Brady is consumed with his children's troubles this week, and for good reason. Rachel just learned that her mother is in jail for shooting Uncle EJ and is sure her mother didn't do it. And Tate is still heartbroken over not being able to ever meet his own child. On Friday, Brady is set to get some rather disturbing news. Does he learn that Rachel is the one who shot EJ and Kristen threw herself on her sword to save their daughter? Will he discover that Marlena already knows the truth, but Kristen wants to spare her child the emotional pain of remembering the truth? Perhaps Steve will come to Brady with some news about Tate and Sophia's baby. Brady hired the investigator to get to the bottom of things. If Steve started looking at Chicago hospitals, he might find there is no record of Sophia Choi ever giving birth in one of them. Whatever news Brady gets makes him realize there are tough times ahead for both of his kids. For now, Tate is just trying to focus on his new job at the Brady pub, the start of his college career, and his renewed relationship with Holly. However, Sophia is determined to come between them, so she now has a job at the pub too. Holly knows what Sophia is up to, so she confronts her former BFF and warns her not to come between her and Tate. Holly also makes sure to show Sophia some public displays of affection so that she gets the message. Sophia hears Holly loud and clear, but she doesn't much care what Holly says or thinks. She and Tate have a special connection now due to her pregnancy, and Sophia plans to take full advantage of it. Little does she know how close Brady is to finding out her big secret, which would ruin her chances with Tate forever. Sophia may want to watch her step. Days of Our Lives sees Kristen DiMera through the courtroom into a frenzy when she burst in and falsely confessed to shooting her brother. More than anything, Kristen wants the secret that Rachel Black shot EJ DiMera to stay hidden, but that seems impossible. We're going to talk about Kristen's desperation to keep up the ruse to protect Rachel. Honestly, how long is this tragic secret going to remain hidden? It's doubtful it can last forever. Let's get right into how this could come out. Johnny DiMera is a free man, and his aunt Kristen is in the slammer. She is not an innocent person by any means, but she's usually somebody who drugs people, molests them, tries to steal embryos, and plays blackmail games. Shooting her brother is a little outside of Kristen's pattern of behavior, but even more so, confessing to a crime is. Chad DiMera was thinking about her spontaneous, court-disrupting confession and calling it into question when he was talking to his brother. Of course, EJ was trying to quell Chad's doubts so that he could keep his word to Kristen to not let anybody know the truth. The deal was EJ wouldn't tell anybody what Rachel did. To be fair, EJ doesn't want to traumatize Rachel any further. At least EJ has the insight to understand his own actions did drive Rachel to pull that gun on him. Then again, Kristen was neck-deep in that Rachel Black mess as well. Just as EJ would do anything to protect Johnny, Kristen is feeling the same way about Rachel. Kristen running in there to confess to shooting EJ just before the verdict came out was quite selfless. A lot of parents, I think, would do what Kristen did. Right now, very few people know that Rachel shot EJ. There's the victim himself, her mom Kristen, and Rachel's beloved grandma, Dr. Marlena Evans. They all agreed to keep it hush-hush for the time being, honestly, forever if they can. Because right now, little Rachel has dissociative amnesia, according to Marlena. The kiddo has no idea she shot Uncle EJ, and finding out that she did would be very traumatic for Rachel. All that being said, I think it's only a matter of time before word starts spreading of who really shot EJ. The big question is, will it become widely known public knowledge around Salem that Rachel shot EJ? Or will a few more people find out, and then they also agree to sit on that big secret? It's kind of like with the Philip Kyriakis forgery thing. First, it was him and Vivian Alamain. And then Kate Roberts was pulled into it. And then it wound up with Sarah Horton and Stephanie Johnson. Then Belle Black, and Alex Kyriakis. They were all covering for Philip for one reason or another. Although more people have found out so far, it's still not widely known in Salem that Xander Cook and the judge were duped by Philip's scheme. Of course, Xander knows, but it's still largely under wraps. That has me wondering who finds out next that Kristen lied about the shooting to save her only child, Rachel. Right now, Marlena does see Kristen's actions as selfless and protective. The actions of a good mom, especially when they were talking about the best thing to do for Rachel's mental health. In most scenarios, Kristen is usually all about Kristen. Although she genuinely loves Rachel, we have seen Kristen commit numerous dastardly deeds in the name of love on days of our lives that hurt her daughter. Not directly like this, but that had her daughter as collateral damage, including times when Kristen has been in prison and Rachel's been heartbroken about it. On the flip side, we've also seen little troublemaker Rachel wreaking havoc and ruining her dad Brady Black's relationship. Now the tween kid has gone and shot her uncle EJ, even though he claims it was accidental. So there are issues there, and I think it all comes from Kristen's DNA. If we're being honest about that. Right now, we've got Rachel very distraught that her mom Kristen is in jail for shooting EJ. It's eating her up. When Sarah saw Brady and Rachel outside the pub, Rachel told Sarah she's very sad about her mom being in jail, and Sarah gave Rachel a big hug. A while back, our reliable leaker told us that Sarah is going to find out from Rachel that she's the one who shot EJ. But Sarah shouldn't find that out for a while because Rachel herself still doesn't remember that she shot EJ. I think at some point, it's all going to come flooding back to Rachel. As for Brady, he has no reason to doubt Kristen's confession because Brady knows exactly how awful Kristen can be, and he walked out on her in jail, promising she'd never see Rachel again. I do think Marlena may encourage Brady to show some grace to Kristen, and that alone should raise Brady's suspicions. That's not going to feel quite right to him. I also suspect Marlena may encourage Brady to take Rachel to see Kristen while she's behind bars for both of their sakes. But Kristen did make promise secrecy about Rachel, so Brady may get an inkling that something's not quite right on Days of Our Lives.